What is going on, guys? BCD here, and today I just wanted to bring you my final review of Nioh. This is what all them videos has been leading up to. All my walkthroughs and hype thoughts and coming to my final fucking conclusion. So, I'm public disclosure. I'm just gonna say it. I'm not too happy with the game. I'm not as thrilled as a IGN or anything like that. So don't, at least listen to my entire thoughts before you click off or leave a dislike or put some stupid ass comment down below. Starting off, I want to talk about the pros of the game. Basically, the pros were basically the customization. Customization, in my opinion, was on par with Diablo, and that whole, they pretty much copied and pasted, and it was great. I don't care if it was copy and paste. I feel like they gave me enough options and way more stuff than I thought they would actually give me, with the ability to reroll stats and customize the way I wanted to look. These are all great options. That was something I was very pleased to see in the game, and going forward, I would think I put a bunch of time into that, just because I like to customize how my player look and how they feel and everything of that nature. So I was looking forward to that, and I was greatly appreciated that that stuff was actually in there. The second pro was probably the combat. Combat in general was on par with Ninja Gaiden or anything like that, or like a Tenchu or Ninja Gaiden or Tenchu. Basically, these games are fast-paced, very twitchy, and I liked it that in the game anyway. I liked that feel, that intensity, and that pretty much was the intensity of the entire game. You was intense, because whether you was fighting a boss, or you was fighting a mini boss, or you was fighting a regular enemy, they can kill you in about 1 or 2 hits. So you always on your P's and Q's, and it was that intensity throughout the entire game. It wasn't never really any downtime, specifically just because of how the game is set up and how it is respawning enemies and shortcuts and pathways back to the prey area and things of that nature. This is what makes this game feel Dark Soul-ish. That's where it stops. Completely stops. I don't care what nobody says. This game does not feel like Dark Souls whatsoever, other than those 2 regards: respawning enemies and the prey stations, and how to get back to them with the shortcuts and everything. So, just to recap: customization I loved, combat I loved, I love the fact that they used the respawning enemies, and I love the fact that they use shortcuts to get back to the prey stations. So, what did I hate? Or, well, basically the cons. So basically, what I did not enjoy with the game was the exploration. It felt unneeded, unnecessary. It didn't feel rewarding to find something new. It felt as if I was still going to die in 2 or 3 hits from now on to the end of the game, which was pretty much, I felt that way from the very beginning, and not to my surprise, at the end of the game, I was still able to die in 2 or 3 hits. So it wasn't as if I was getting tougher or anything like that. So stats, in my opinion, didn't matter. Weapons and armors, it mattered to an extent to stay on par with the other enemies, which is the same as with you're playing with a Dark Souls game. But when in Dark Souls, you can go back to the first area and potentially one hit those enemies, or they couldn't potentially kill you in 1 or 2 hits anymore. So you felt progression. So exploration, and me not having the actual necessary need to go out and look for things, or look for new items, or look for new weapons, because at the end of the day, they was going to still do the same amount of damage, I felt anyway, as something I found 10 minutes later that's a white. So it wasn't really any need for me to go and push out for that type of stuff. It wasn't like I was finding like a Destiny exotic or some shit like that. Sometimes you'll get lucky and find that type of stuff, but it really never changed the game in a sense. So Second thing I did not like about it was the boss fights. The boss fights were way too sporadic and all over the place. It didn't know if it wanted to play a Ninja Gaiden focused game or it didn't know if it wanted to be Dark Souls focused. It was kind of like, okay, we're going to put you in this scenario, right? But we're not going to give you all the tools necessary to defeat this opponent. So if you're trying to dodge one of his attacks that seems to be undodgeable, or you're trying to block it, everything is tied to your stamina bar. So whether you're getting hit or whether you're trying to dodge or whether you're trying to attack, everything is tied to your stamina bar. So on occasion, you can see the flaws in the game, because if you're not able to use all of these mechanics, in no way possible you're going to be able to get around this enemy without finding some weakness that's very odd and Ninja Gaiden-ish. Because I know in Ninja Gaiden it was always some weird thing that I would do to kill an enemy or kill a boss, because it was kind of spammy, and that's what I got from this game. It was so spammy. It wasn't like a aha moment or nothing like that. It was all like spammy. During my walkthroughs, I complained about some of this stuff. Somehow how some bosses felt uneven and oddly built or created. It was just so much different things going on. It didn't feel right. And so when you did get bosses like the big skeleton, when they gave you the buffs inside the boss fight, it felt more unique and more Nioh, because then that's where they really started creating some new experiences, rather than putting me into an experience where some of these bosses feel like Ninja Gaiden bosses, like you just basically plucked them out and put them in there. I know the one with the flying bat, it felt so familiar in my opinion. It felt familiar when I fought the flying bat, when you're fighting her or you're fighting the winged ninja boss. They all felt kind of the same. It felt like I was doing the same thing over and over, and that's the whole presence I had during my entire playthrough, was I was doing the same thing over and over. And it did not help that it was all mission based, because that kept me in a box. It did not allow me to go back and get stronger and come back, because I did not want to lose progress and have to start all over the mission, because honestly, I did not want to play that stuff over and over again. So in Dark Souls, when they give you that option to bag off and go fight something else, come back if you're not strong enough, or go get something else and come back if you're not strong enough, this is what sets itself apart from Nioh. And I understand that Nioh and Dark Souls is not the same game, but it's in the same genre. So what I'm saying is, they had some great ideas and some great accomplishments within the game, but they also had a lot of flaws and a lot of upsetting creator moves. It was just a lot of things that I just didn't feel were properly executed. So yeah, and it was just it was disheartening, because I was so pumped for this game. It's not that it's a bad game, it's just not a 9.6. It's not. I don't care how you spin it. It's not a 9.6. It's not a 10 out of 10. It's not 100. It's not what these media critics are giving it, or what the general public is giving it. I feel like most of the people that was even talking and discussing it, half the people that's the users, they haven't beat the game. They haven't spent tons and tons of time with the game. If they have, I really don't understand where they're getting those numbers from, because this feels like a straight up 7. It feels like a straight up 7.5 to me, because it has great accomplishments. It created something different, but it fell through in other places that I really think I should just shine a light on. So what I was stating again, basically, cons were the exploration, boss fights, the stamina bar, the inability to leave a situation and come back to it without losing progress. This is all things that I felt as if needed to be revamped and redid, because these are things that were tied solely to the experience. And when you muck up most of that experience, you get left with this disheartening and unfulfilled feeling once you beat it. Because once I beat it, I didn't feel fulfilled. I didn't feel happy. I didn't feel like I accomplished something. I feel like I just got done beating a mundane task or something like that. It just did not culminate into a great experience for me. And of course, the mission structure obviously didn't help. It was just level to level. It made me feel like I was repeating myself over and over again. I don't care how much the scenery changed. It felt like I was repeating myself. So that some things are is out of your control, like that level design thing. So I understand that they had to make, you know, drawbacks and they had to do stuff like that. But I feel like opening up that world would probably made that game a lot better. NPCs were non-factors. Basically, these things where they come and they go, and they're not even as if they're important. They don't do anything important for you, and half the time they don't help you in the fight, or they don't. It was just, you get sucked into the world. Nioh, I did not feel like I got sucked in. I felt like I was just going through the motions, and that's what I'm ending with. Basically, I was going through the motions. If you enjoy Ninja Gaiden, or if you enjoy small things of Dark Souls, because it's not a Dark Souls game, if you enjoy those small things, you will enjoy this game. You will enjoy the intensity. You will enjoy the heart pumping feel you get when you're fighting something and you're almost there. You will get that. That's what I got. But you won't get that experience. You won't get that full-fleshed experience. You'll get what they want to give you, and it's a 7. So, because honestly, I had to really sit down and think about why I didn't like this game, and that's what brought out most of my love for Dark Souls and some of the things that they do. Because when I really thought about it, I was like, man, why don't I like this game? On paper, I should really love this game. It has the customization, it has the intensity, it has the Ninja Gaiden feel I love, it has the Japan background. Why don't I love this game? And then all this stuff just started flowing out. I had to really think about it, discuss it with people, and understand that these are the things that really are important. So yeah, I'm gonna just leave it at that. If you guys enjoyed this commentary, don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, peace.